All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Easter weekend as we get to the fourth edition of the podcast covering eSports Michigan. And believe it or not, we are already 3 weeks in the bag because of Easter weekend. All the events, all the games we had took place on Thursday. So we are recording this on Friday and should be getting it out over the weekend or Monday, but the bottom line is we've got 3 weeks in the can, and we've got Andrew Blanchard and Ethan Williams here, the tournament directors and league directors of what's happening here in eSports Michigan. I am Lorne Plant, and I think we got a lot to cover, but first off, Andrew, why don't you just kind of give us an overview of how the season has gone thus far?
Yeah, season's been going... there's hiccups. It's a first season, but it's been going good. Teams are having fun. A lot of back and forth, which is what we really wanted to see. This is really helping us get like the top 16, the top 4 best teams that we could absolutely bring here.
And when you say back and forth, what do you mean?
A lot of teams have been winning the games, and then the other team will make a comeback, which is like one of the best things you can watch as as a player or like experience as a team, is that comeback victory where you were down, your team was down, somebody rallied the troops, and you were able to push the win. We've seen a couple of those. Our game of the week that Ethan's going to be talking about kind of highlighted a little bit of that. But teams like Troy High that were first place through the first 3 games lost their first game. Group C had two teams that were undefeated going into the games yesterday, and neither team came out undefeated.
Nice.
We've
got parity.
Yeah, we've got parity. So we've got in Group B, sorry, not Group C. The top 4 teams are all 3-1. They are all tied.
Nice.
So those are the teams that currently are at the top of that group, and who would, if we stopped the tournament right now, they would be going to LTU to compete in our on our postseason tournament.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of teams that still have games to play. It's spring break for a lot of the high schools, plus Easter weekend. We've got a lot of public schools and as well as private Christian schools. So we've been trying to work. So this week and next week will be kind of sporadic games. We won't be streaming any of these games since they're going to be a little bit sporadic. We're going to try to pick that up and really get into the swing of things in week 5. But hopefully by the end of week 4, beginning of week 5, we'll have every single game completed for every single team, and you'll be able to look at where the standings are currently.
Yeah, and just so, again, bear with us, Michigan. We are, this was our first 4. We were basically like, we want to do this, so let's just do it. And we are, kind of making it up as we go along in terms of dealing with technology and all that. So as far as like video and all of that stuff, it's going to happen. Like I said, we're hoping by next week that we're going to be able to have everything streamed. We'll be able to show highlights here on the podcast, which we could do some of that anyway, which we plan on doing it. And we've got kind of a structure now to what we're going to do every week and giving you updates. So as Andrew just kind of started doing, we're going to update the standings every week. Ethan's going to give us our game of the week. So he's going to kind of just go over the best match that we had, and it could be either in week 2 or week 3, whichever one you choose. We'll have a strategy session, so it's important that you guys, especially young teams, that you want to learn some kind of keys to victory, things that are happening that can swing a game. And like you said, you've already been seeing that since you've had a lot of back and forth. And then we're going to just kind of preview some of the matchups that we have ahead. Now, remember, esportsmichigan.com is the website. That's where the standings are, and that is kind of the hub. That's where you can reach out to us if you have any questions. And we'd be happy to do a mailbag segment here, and you can send us questions, and we'll talk about them and see if we can answer them. So right here, so that because maybe some of you have the same questions. So first off, as far as standings go, where are we at right now?
So Group B is the only group that has every single team has completed all 4 games that have currently been scheduled. So Group B, I kind of already went over the standings of that one. But just a reminder, Troy Colts, Team Stopwatch from Canton High, the Galaxy Demons, and Revival are all in the top 4. They're all tied 3-1. They've all pretty much been back and forth games between those top 4. And it really seems like they're up there. But the Dragons and Adrian Public Schools are right behind them at 2-2, so there's always a chance for an upset. The other groups are kind of it's hard to say who's the leader right now, because some groups have teams that have played 2 games because they had to reschedule other spring break games,
Right.
stuff like that. So in Group A, at the top of the standings, currently I have Liquid Ninjas because they're the only team that's in the top of the standings that completed all 4 games. They're 3-1 right now.
Okay.
However, Seaholm Maples are still undefeated. They have a game coming up this week to try to maintain that undefeated status going into weeks 4 and 5. In Group C, Clarkston High Wolves are undefeated, but they've only played 3 games.
Got it.
So they've got another game coming up. Chippewa Valley's 2-0, and the Avocado Warriors are 2-1. Each of those teams have games to play still. And then in Group D, Loyalty from Troy High are defending champions. They're 3-0 in their group. The E-Rats are 2-0, and Granville Bulldogs are 2-1. So again, some teams that have some games to play and really still need to prove themselves. So
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, again, we're there's nobody that's undefeated.
Right.
Right? So that means, when it comes to choosing our top 16 at the end, we're going to have teams that can beat anybody. So, and that's good. That's what we want. That's what's going to drive the competition. That's what's going to bring people, really paying attention to see, how this is all going to play out. So, game of the week, Ethan.
So, on Thursday there was a few games played.
And we're talking about Thursday yesterday, which
29th.
was 29th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the game of the week, hands down, has to be the last game, which was Team Stopwatch versus Galaxy Demons.
And now, where are those? What schools are those?
Team, you know what?
Stopwatch
Yeah.
is Canton High.
Okay.
Galaxy Demons is East Kentwood.
Okay. So there are some schools that have a couple of teams, and that's
Yeah,
just so we know.
And so Team Stopwatch was 2-1 going into this game, and Galaxy Demons was undefeated going into
Okay.
this game.
So the game started off with Team Stopwatch and Galaxy Demons going at it, and it looked like Galaxy Demons was going to get ahead. Their top lane, Gragas, was beating the Riven. Riven was 0-2, I believe. The mid lane, Cassiopeia, was out farming, out pushing their Malzahar mid. But then the bot lane, the Jin Morgana on Team Stopwatch, just was given no ground, kept pushing, was a powerhouse all game. And in the minutia of everything, League of Legends is a game of inches.
Yeah.
And the inches that Jin Morgana bottom took piece by piece just slowly started to turn the game around in the favor of Team Stopwatch. And you can really identify good teams because they're the teams that can create those small advantages over and over and over again to create the large advantages that lead to a victory. And just the plays that went down and the intense nature of the game made me pick that for the game of the week.
All right. So hopefully you guys check that out and you dig that. And congratulations on a well fought game. And again, like you said, it's a matter of inches. And these are the little things that can put you over the top or bury you. So in terms of our next thing we want to get into is kind of like a strategy that somebody can implement that is maybe being underused right now, or is something that people just don't realize what's going on.
So a strategy that was actually implemented in that last Team Stopwatch versus Galaxy Warriors game is something that a lot of people don't give enough credit to. Is one of the map objectives is the Rift Herald. It is an early game objective in the top half of the map. And you can defeat the monster. Typically, it takes 1 or 2 people to fight it. And if you defeat it, you collect a buff that you can spend to spawn the big monster in a lane, which then provides an incredible push power for your team, which lets your team destroy towers, create map pressure, and sometimes, like in this Stopwatch vs. Galaxy Demons game, can really push it over the edge. At the point where they got the Rift Herald, Team Stopwatch had started to turn the game in their favor, but it still could have gone either way, in my opinion, until this Rift Herald push, where I live in Silverland, people don't typically get Rift Herald, but in games like this, you can really appreciate how impactful and effective it can be. And so when you're thinking about, this is a really close game, how can I edge out the other team? Rift Herald is a fantastic way to do that.
And obviously, what happened as a result of the Rift Herald?
So when they put the Rift Herald down in the mid lane, they captured the Tier 2 tower, which is the second tower in lane, and also the inhibitor tower, and basically cracked the enemy's base wide open to make it easier for them to win the game.
And they won the game. There you go. So, all right, well, great. We want to give you a little tip, every week on some things you need to do. And again, the video's there so you can kind of refer back to that. And again, if you have questions that you want to send to us, you can do that there's a contact email at esportsmichigan.com. So that's it. As far as what are some matchups coming up we can look forward to next week?
So, like I said, we're trying to get some rescheduled going for the games that played just this last week. So, look for Clarkston High, Seaholm Maples, and Loyalty, which are the three teams that have only played 3 games. There are 4 games that are supposed to be scheduled, but of those 3 games, they have not lost yet. So, Loyalty has a remake coming up against the E-Rats from Huron. They're also technically undefeated, so coming out of that game, somebody's going to have a loss. Loyalty will also be playing Clout 9 and trying to defend their win streak here. Clarkston High Wolves, they have...
These are ones that still have to be scheduled.
Yeah, these are ones that still have to be scheduled. They're coming up.
And if you're interested, you can go to esportsmichigan.com. They should be updated probably by early next week.
So Clarkston High versus the Avocado Warriors coming up. That's going to be a big game. And the Seaholm Maples against Viper.
Okay.
So those are the games coming up. Do
we have any that are scheduled right now that look intriguing?
Yeah, in week 4, Seaholm Maples and Divine Child Falcons, Troy High. The group B is just super back and forth, and we're going to see some of the top teams facing off. Team Stopwatch is playing against Adrian Public Schools, who had a huge upset victory against Troy High. And they were 1-2 going into the day. Troy Colts were undefeated, and Adrian Public Schools pulled out a big victory there, beating Troy Colts, moving up to 2-2. They're 50%. Troy Colts now has a loss. So Adrian Public Schools will be playing against another one of the top teams, Team Stopwatch.
Okay.
And if they can
win, just talked about.
Yeah, if they can win that game, they have an easy chance that they might be able to make the LTU tournament. And then Troy Revival and Galaxy Demons, the other 2 teams that are in the top of the bracket. So this is week 4. Friday, April 6th.
Okay.
At 6:30 and 7:30 are these 2 games.
Okay.
And these 2, look for the results of those games, because that's going to really shake up or show us who's going to be top of Group B, which is looking super competitive right now.
And just as we wrap it up, remind once again, how do you advance into the 16-team tournament? How are you guys going to choose that?
Yeah. So each of these groups has 8 people in the group. And the top 4 teams, based on win-loss record, are going to be the ones that move on. If there is a tie, and we're expecting there to be some amount of ties, the winner will be determined by a head-to-head record. Each team's playing each other team twice. So if Troy Colts beat Galaxy Demons twice in the season and they're tied at the end, Troy Colts will be put up higher in the standings. And then if both teams are tied and their head-to-head is tied, then they're going to play a tiebreaker game. It's just going to be a best-of-1 game.
Yep.
Whoever wins moves up in the standings. So we might have a tie for 4th place,
right,
where the winner of that tiebreaker game is going to be the one that goes to LTU, and the loser is going to stay at home.
That's right. Survive and advance.
Yeah. So top 4 teams in each one. Those top 16 are coming to the tournament.
Sweet. So that's how it is. You got to be in the top 4 in your group. So are we seeing crossover matches, or are we just playing teams in our group?
This year, it's going to be just groups.
Well, and that's good. That's how you get the fairest way of determining the top 4 in each group. So, sweet. All right, good stuff, boys. Again, happy Easter, and those of you competing, good luck. Keep it up. We're watching. It's a lot of fun. And we're going to get you another update next week of what's happening here in eSports Michigan. And once again, esportsmichigan.com is the website. Again, twitch.tv, our 2018 Michigan High School Series will be up. It's just we're getting some things worked out. We'll get it worked out so that you'll be able to watch all the matches right there. So otherwise, again, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.